Hello. So in this session I'm going to talk about how to UV map a character, and I'm going to start with the main body. Here I've got character with the the garments, the costumes, and the main body. So first thing I'm going to do is just simply isolate the character, and the next thing I'm going to do, I would like to just take a planar map of this character, and the modeling menu, UV planar mapping. Now you can do camera based, or you can simply do planar mapping. So this character is facing towards Z direction, that's the front, and I'm gonna go to planar mapping option box, Z axis, and click apply. Okay, and this is what we're getting. Here we go. I'll leave the toolkit in here. So the next thing we want to do, we want to be able to separate kind of relevant parts and to be able to unwrap the mesh or the UV of the mesh accordingly. So what I like to do, turn on the symmetry first, and when I do turn on the symmetry, I would like to use the topology option, because sometimes the mesh might be misplaced on the grid, so it's not always, sometimes people make mistakes and they might not be able to actually place it dead in the center. So what I'll do, I'll go to symmetry topology, and I'll pick the center line or the center edge, and that's it. So now that we've got the symmetry on, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to switch to modeling tab, and we're going to use this 3D cut tool, which is this one. Don't mix it with the multi-cut, just make sure that you're on this one. This is the UV mapping part, so I'm just going to click on that. And what I like to do is just we could do it from here or there, double click, and that's it. And when we do turn on the coloring on the UV editor, which is this one, we're going to have some stuff going on there. And then I would like to pick this part. That's it. And we would like to pick this part. That's it. And then the hands. So it's this one. Sorry, my computer's reaction time is a bit slow. And then I'm gonna go to the feet. And then sometimes we don't get the full loop, so I'm just going to hold on to shift button. I'm going to try and drag it. So we're cutting through a seam. There we go. Those are done as well. And then what I like to do now, I like to cut through the head, holding on to shift, but up until the hairline. We don't want to do this too much, and that's too much. So what I'm going to do to actually take it back, I'm going to hold on to control button, just click on those lines up until we go to the hairline, which is somewhere around here. Let me switch to preview mode of 1, a bit of a low res, so I think the response times will be better. Now that those are done, I'm going to go to the ear. I think I've got a full loop there, so I can do that. Oh no, there we go. I think I need to focus on the back as well. That's it. And then the other thing I've got here is I've got an inner mouth. So this is it's going to be rigged later on, and it's going to have facial animation. So there is a mouth pocket, so I want to separate that. Okay, so that's been separated now, I think. I don't have a different color, but yeah. Okay, so now, and also if you have the eye sockets, you know, going in, and you want to kind of separate that, give a different color, you can, you know, depending on how it's, whether it's stretched or not. We'll test that. I want to leave it now like that. And what I also like to do, I want to separate the base, the bottom of the foot. Again, this is based on how you modeled it, and if you've got a continuous loop, it will be easier. Otherwise, you have to go and do it manually. So in my case, it managed to slice through the foot. That's good, and I shall do the same with the hand. Let me just see how it goes. Yeah, I don't have a full loop there, so I'm just going to press Z key to see if I can go back. And I'm going to try and find a one of these middle ones if I can. Maybe I should do this. Okay, I'll use these fingers as the base, and then I'll use this line. Yeah, the thumb is causing a bit of a trouble. You know what I'll do? I'll just go in, trying to do this manually, this part. I think we got everything that we need there. And with the torso, because this is going to be unwrapped, I like to cut through here like so, and then with the something like this. It's almost like a pair of trousers, and we're just kind of cutting through them. We'll try this first. So what we're going to do next, we're going to hold on to the right mouse button on the character, go to component, UV shell, and then I'm going to do a full marquee drawing around the character. At this point, it would be good that if you save your file, because you don't know how your computer is going to react, it's going to calculate this and try to unwrap the mesh for us. Whilst it's selected, whilst all the shells are selected, we're going to press D, so that's D for delta, and we're going to let the computer do the work for us. So this is what we've got. I'm going to switch back to normal, holding on the right mouse button, object mode, and this is what we got. I'm gonna just switch back to this, and there are some stuff that I need to double check, so I don't know what this is. So these are the arms, so that means I forgot to actually slice through the arms, so I'm just gonna click on it again, and I'll just focus on here. I'll find the seam where it's not visible to the camera, so we could, in a way, I mean, this guy is wearing garments, so it should be that one. Okay, now I can go back to component, UV shell, select everything again, and press the D key once more, and let it run. Okay, this is better. Okay, Here we go. The next thing we're going to do, we would like to make sure that we don't have stretching or compression going on. So I'm going to turn on this tool called UV distortion. And if you drag the mouse over it, it does tell you what it is. It says identify areas of UV shell that are stretched colored in red and compressed colored in blue. So it looks like we kind of got pretty good result. There are areas where there are problems. Now with the hand, I think it's better to separate both parts. So I'm just going to go back to the hands. And I'll finish it. Yeah, I think it was here that I didn't separate it properly. The other thing we could do is follow this seam all the way to the arm, or we could actually follow somewhere around here perhaps, but I think I'll be fine with this one for now. And I'll do another UV shell, another selection, and I'll press D again. So this is the result we have. Now if you are going to paint this in Photoshop, it'll be good to organize the UV shells, and when you work in Photoshop you have to pack everything into this 0 to 1 space, into this UV tile. If you want to, let's say, focus on high resolution texturing and give a lot of space to the head, for example, and equally a lot of UV space to the body, and so on and so forth. Assuming that you will have a texture that is 2K, that's 2048 by 2048, for example, and you can actually do what we call multi-tile UV mapping. For instance, the head could just be tiled in this, could just be unwrapped and put into this 0 to 1 space. The body could be in the torso, and the lower body could be into this tile, and so on and so forth. But Photoshop doesn't work in multi-tiling. Mudbox and certainly modern texturing software such as Substance Painter and Mari, they do work in multi-tile UV mapping. Now in our case, because this is it's not an advanced course or teaching at this stage, what we're going to do, we're going to try and keep the UV of the body into this 0 to 1 space. We're going to try and pack it into that space. So what I'm going to do, if I was to paint this into Mudbox, which I'm going to do, I could just leave the UV as is, organized or laid out as is. But assuming that you might be doing some stuff in Photoshop, what you could do, I'm just going to turn this off. You could start organizing this in a more of a logical and coherent way. So these are the arms, and this is the head, for example. We know that is the foot. Okay, so what I will do, I think this is the inner mouth. I might have to cut through it as well. This is the inside of the mouth, so I'll just cut it here for now, and I'll just do an unwrap or unfold. There we go. The first thing you would like to do is make sure that every UV shell has got the same textile density. So I'm just going to select one of them, like for instance the head itself. I'm going to go to transfer, get, and that's the textile density. Actually the map size, I'll just put it on 2048, and then I'll get the textile density, and then I'll select them all and set everybody to the same textile density. Okay, so we've got this now. they all share the same textile density. In other words, if I was to turn on the checkered texture on this, you could now see and then we could see the size of the checkered boxes are the same across the mesh. That means they will all have the same, in other words, pixel quality when we apply textures. So I'm just going to click on this and I will lay these out properly, assuming that we're going to paint this in Photoshop. So what I'll do, I'll put the these are the legs, so we can use the usual rotation. I think I'll just leave it there. This is the torso. These are the arms. When you double click, you can grab a shell, and I will try and rotate these. Sorry, my response time is slow. The computer is struggling a bit. I think something is happening, so I'm just going to pause and arrange it, and I'll show you the arrangement. So I'm just going to scale them a bit and trying to fit into this 0 to 1 space. Now it will be ideal to actually work a bit more in detail and trying to fit this economically, and making sure that the UV shells, they actually occupy most of this 0 to 1 space. So I think we also want to make sure they don't overlap, so I'm just going to be careful with that. Okay, something like this, and then we'll delete the history. We'll save our file, and in the next session I'm going to move on to the garments. So thank you for watching.